welcome to our channel, Homeschool and Life. So glad that you guys are joining us today. It is summertime and there's going to be lots of noises out here. I've tried to find a quiet spot in my house to record this video for you guys, but I just cannot find one. There's like lawnmower noises and door shutting noises and just life noises happening, so you'll just have to bear with me. If you guys watched our last video, I think you should. It's almost like an ongoing conversation when you come to our channel, because Lauren and I switch off on our videos and sometimes we get to do them together. But her last video was about mother culture, which I'm just going to let you guys listen to that and be encouraged and inspired. And I just bring that up because summer is a great time to see. The lawnmower is like right beside me and I can't even help it. I tried to find a spot where they weren't doing. Anyway, summer is a great time as a mother to make sure that you are investing in yourself and to become more encouraged, motivated, and inspired, and refreshed, and get ready for the next year. So even myself, after watching Lauren's video, I went and ordered the book she's reading because I was needing something to read. So anyways, I was just going to say, encourage you to go watch that. But my video is going to be complete opposite and a switching of gears. Instead of summer resetting and refreshing, it is going to be business, 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 and talk about credits and organizing credits and how to do this. A couple of my videos ago, I let everyone know that was my goal. I wanted to get this finished so that I could reset and enjoy the summer and start, thinking about other things. But now that I have high school students, I really want to stay on top of how I am doing things. So I thought I would just share it with you guys because I'm sure somebody else is doing teens. Now, homeschool laws, so I'll get to the point of how I'm keeping their credits, how I'm organizing their credits, and the why. So every homeschool state is going to have their own laws. And so we homeschool in Arkansas. And so far, each of my kids have, different goals and interests in their lives, just like I'm sure y'all's do too. But my top two children, especially my top one, is wanting to hopefully get to play sports at the next level. Right now, that's her goal. And so as a homeschool mom, I feel like it is our responsibility to make sure that we have looked into all the avenues to make sure that those requirements are met to help support them in whatever their goals are. So I'm going to be basing my video today on like the credits you need for NCAA and how I'm doing my planning, and also in accordance with our state. So first off, I'm just going to show you, if your child is wanting to play sports at the next level, if your child is able to participate in public school sports or however your state mate does it, there is an NCAA homeschool toolkit, and that basically, it's so awesome. It like walks you through every process of what they need for Division I, Division II sports, and so on and so on. And so you're going to want to make sure that you are following those rules. So they have a Division II and a Division I worksheet, and I can link to all this. And so basically what I do is I print this off and I will fill in what we have done and what we need, and I'll probably fill in like just an idea of what years I'm wanting to do this. But then like the completed one, I print off a fresh copy and I put it in the notebook. And I also have a digital copy on my computer. I know it is a digital world. Nobody's going to want to see my 3-ring binder, but the 3-ring binder is for me and a visual for me to be able to see what I've got going on. So that's the first thing I do, is kind of plan that out. The next thing that I do is I have a document like this. I don't know if you can see it, but it has all the grades on it, and I print off a fresh copy each time I work on my planning. And this is one of the ones I had last year. It's the same thing, and I just write in pencil and jot down my ideas of what I might want my children to take in each of those grades to fulfill their requirements. And you can see, like, I'll exit out and put something else in here, or if Lauren and I are wanting our kids to take a certain class together, you know, I might have to move things around or anything. So this is like always a working copy. When I pull out my folder, I get this out, look over it, move things around, and then I always print off a nice fresh copy to work on my planning for the next year with, you know, the grades and like what I might want for the credits. So the next thing that I do is, we live in Arkansas, and I also have printed off the Arkansas requirements to graduate from an Arkansas high school, and I have it all listed. You know, their health and safety credits, their math credits, and electives, and all the things. Now, are my kids going to go to public school to try to finish with public school? I have no idea. I ask them every year what they want to do. So far, my older ones are still, like, you know, happy to be homeschooled, but it is a thought in their back of their head, because they play public school sports. As they get older in their years, they might want to finish out their junior or senior year at the school, and that's okay with me if that's what they want to do. So I feel like as a homeschool mom, it is my responsibility to make sure they come in with the correct credits. Now, if you are homeschooling and you know for sure you're not going to send them to school, depending on what your state laws are, you might not need this at all. But I just do it for myself personally to help myself in the planning. So this is kind of my brain dump area, and I just stick it in the front of the folder. So next thing I do is, at the very front, well, I've got my personal information on there. Surely y'all can't zoom in and see all that. When you first open this, this is the high school transcript. I have a digital copy on my computer. At the end of each school year, I go in, I update it, I fill in the grades and the credits, and it stays digital, and then I print off the current copy and I put it in the front of my notebook. Again, I know that everybody's digital, but like I have to see it like this. I still use a paper and pen planner. All my friends make fun of me and tell me I need to join the, you know, whatever century we're in, but I just can't help it. I still use it. So then, sorry, let me get to where you can see. Back to the NCAA goals. If you have a child who even thinks they might want to play college sports, they have to have 16 credits, and that goes back to your Division I, Division II worksheet of, like, they have to have, you know, 3 Englishes, 2 maths, 2 sciences, and then 3 more of either math, English, or science. So it really works out that they'll have, like, you know, 3 maths, 4 Englishes. Then they've got to have 2 years of their social sciences, and then they have another 4 of, like, their, you know, their philosophy, their you might call them electives. They call them academic courses. Their Spanishes, but it's a total of 16 that they have to have. And then for each one of those classes, you have to fill out, it's a NCAA core course worksheet, and it's going to ask you questions like, what is the course description? What is your grade based on, such as, you know, 10% tests, 20% discussions, or whatever it is. What are the learning course goals and outline? And so I spent some time yesterday doing this for all of the classes that we have already taken. It took a little bit of time because you have to fill it out. Who's the, you know, who designs the assessments, and who's the teacher, and what's the credit awarded. And then I just try to keep this updated at the end of the year. Now that I've got one finished, when I do my next child, it'll be much easier. And then I put it in categories in this notebook of maths, sciences, histories, electives, anything, with all the core courses. Again, I have a folder on my Google Drive, you know, with my kid's name, and it says transcript at a glance. Then I have all the core course worksheets uploaded in a PDF by their class, so that if something ever happened to this, or if I just needed to reprint one off or anything, like, I have that available to me. And this is also helpful when you try to get your kids dual enrolled. Sometimes, like, depending on how you do that, they might ask questions about what they've had or not have. So that's how I organize everything. I can send you links to the NCAA stuff. If anybody is interested in some of my planning things, I can send you links to that. But I just wanted to share how I organize it and how I plan it, and because I thought maybe somebody else would be in the same situation and might help them. And so each one of my kids I'll do a 3-ring binder for, and each one of them I will also do the Google Doc folder where everything is digital. Something I've got on here is, if you watched our video about how Lauren and I did Knotgrass history, it was a high school level course. Our kids took it younger than the high school, but we pretty much did every single thing in it. And so I gave them their American history credit for that. And so I just went ahead and put it on here, but if something ever happens where we decide we want to take it again, I will just update it and change it. So anyway, I hope that is super helpful to somebody who is jumping in on the high school stuff. Got it all in sheet protectors, and that way when I get ready to plan, I will pull down her folder next. I will have what I've written down there on pencil just stuck in the front to help me start planning each year. Now, I will say, even though like I'm gearing a lot of our credits towards if they end up wanting to go to high school, or you know, if they're wanting to play college sports, I am still so grateful for the being able to choose our curriculum and choose our education on how we're going to give like a biblical worldview, and how we talk about discipleship, and how we're able to talk about like life lessons and life things and discussions in our homeschool curriculum, still mixed with meeting requirements for other people. I know some homeschool families, like, they don't want to mess with any of that, and so their education probably looks a little bit different than ours. But even though we have a foot in both worlds, a foot in the homeschool world and then a foot in the public school world, you know, as our kids like participating in the sports and things up there, still being able to homeschool in this season is such a joy and such a blessing. Just being able to talk about the topics from, you know, with our science and our history and some of the literature that we read. So this is all waters that I'm navigating. It's my first time to raise children and my first time to homeschool high school students. So I'm learning as I go and sharing what works and what doesn't work with you guys, while also trying to learn from others. So I hope that is helpful. Don't forget to go back and watch Lauren's last video. Let us know if you have any questions, or if there's any kind of videos that you hope that we would put up this summer. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Homeschool and Life, and we would really love it if you would subscribe and give us a like to this video. Thanks so much.